So at Uber, we had a very decentralized operations team, meaning every city or every country was basically treated as its own company, meaning they were responsible for the P&L ownership and things like that. And so, over time, especially when you think about Uber circa 2015, suddenly we found ourselves in 120 cities that were all kind of operating, by themselves. And I think one, that was a good thing for Uber at the very beginning because, being first to market and actually having an in-market presence is so incredibly important for an industry like ours. And so I think it was, the reason behind a lot of our growth. However, when you become so decentralized by that, it's easy to find those activities that you could easily centralize. And so product operations actually first started to say, all right, this process is being handled 120 different ways. How do we centralize that activity and have, more efficient or fewer resources doing that same activity? And when you can standardize that process, then it's ripe for automation. And so then it became, this operation team that owned these central processes, now inserting them into the product, planning process to be automated. Now, over time, the needs of the business have changed. So when you talk about, Uber's geographical expansion, especially in 2015 to 2016, we were at first just like a US only market, but suddenly we found ourselves in 40 plus countries. And when you think about at least how our industry operates, there is a hyper local competitor in almost every single country in which we exist. And so it's a really tough thing to think about, okay, well, how do we build a global strategy and utilize the most of our resources so that what we build actually does scale globally, but allow it to be configured in a way that can compete with a hyper local competition. And when you think about the challenges there, it definitely changes your product strategy. It changes how you operate internally. And that was really starting, to pivot the product operations team to think about, okay, well, what's the insight gathering process? How do we get ahead of, regulations or archetypes of users? Because they are, so different.